The Black Swan by Nassim Taleb. Summary and analysis. What is a Black Swan event? Let's start with something simple. For a long time, people in Europe believed that all swans were white. That's all they had ever seen. It became a fact. Then someone went to Australia and saw a black swan. One single black swan, and the entire idea collapsed. That's what Taleb means by a black swan. It's an event that comes as a complete surprise, has a massive impact, and seems obvious after it happens. The 9/11 terrorist attack, the 2008 financial crash, the rise of the internet, COVID-19. All of them are black swan events. They weren't predicted by experts, they changed everything, and after they happened, everyone came up with reasons that made it seem like we should have seen them coming. But we didn't. What the book is really about? At its heart, The Black Swan is about unpredictability. Taleb wants us to stop pretending we can predict everything. We think the world works in straight line, but most of the time it doesn't. We believe tomorrow will look like today, that trends will continue, that experts know the future, but Taleb says we are fooling ourselves. The world runs on uncertainty. Big, messy, unpredictable events shape history. Yet our models, plans, and decisions ignore them. That's the danger. The turkey example. Here is a story Taleb uses. It's simple but makes the concept crystal clear. A turkey is fed every day by a kind human. Day after day, food arrives. The turkey grows confident. Humans are nice, it thinks. Then on day 1000, right before Thanksgiving, the kind human slaughters and cooks the turkey. For the turkey, this is a black swan event. What does this story tell you? Just because something has always happened doesn't mean it will keep happening. That's the mistake. We confuse regularity with safety. But the future doesn't care about your past. Two kinds of randomness. Taleb divides the world into two places, Mediocristan and Extremistan. Mediocristan. This is the world of predictable things. Your height, your weight, your blood pressure. No one is 10 times taller than someone else. These things stay within limits. Extremistan. This is the world of unpredictable things. Wealth, book sales, stock market crashes. A single person or event can change the entire picture. That's where black swans live. Most of our lives are in Extremistan now, but we still act like we are in Mediocristan. That's the problem. Why experts fail? Taleb is brutal on experts, especially economists, bankers, and statisticians. He says most of them don't know what they are doing when it comes to uncertainty. They build models based on what they already know, but black swans come from what we don't know. Their tools can't catch them. For example, financial models often assume a normal world. But the world isn't normal. It's wild. That's why banks collapse and nobody sees it coming. History is written by the unexpected, according to the Black Swan. Think about the biggest events in history. Wars, inventions, disasters, stock market crashes, new technologies. Very few were planned. Most just happened. Take for example the discovery of penicillin. Alexander Fleming didn't plan to change medicine. He left a petri dish open by mistake and mold killed bacteria on the dish. That mold turned out to be penicillin. It became the world's first real antibiotic. It saved millions of lives. One accident rewrote medical history. What about the rise of Google? Larry Page and Sergey Brin were just two PhD students trying to build a better search tool. They had no idea it would become the backbone of the internet. At one point, they even tried to sell Google for $1 million. No one bought it. They stumbled into building one of the most powerful companies in the world. Before World War I started, a teenager shot Archduke Franz Ferdinand. The single event, something no one saw coming, sparked a war that killed millions, broke empires, and changed the shape of the 20th century. No politician or strategist planned that outcome. We remember the things that did happen, but we forget all the things that could have happened but didn't. That's called the silent evidence, and it tricks our thinking. Let's say 10 people try something crazy. 9 fail and disappear. 1 succeeds and becomes a legend. We only hear about the one, so we think it's easy, but we never hear the full story. What is silent evidence according to the Black Swan? This is Taleb's key idea. We only hear from the winners. The failures disappear quietly. Imagine this. 100 people write a book. One book becomes a bestseller. The author is invited on talk shows, asked to share their secrets, and praised for their brilliance. The other 99 books fail. No one hears about them. So what do we learn? We wrongly assume that if we follow that one writer's habits, we'll succeed too. We ignore the 99 failures. We admire Einstein or Newton and say they were brilliant. That's why they succeeded. But many brilliant people die unknown. Maybe they didn't have the right timing or luck or support, but because their work didn't break through, we don't count them. That's silent evidence. All the invisible stories that didn't get told. The illusion of understanding. Taleb says humans are storytelling animals. When something happens, we instantly try to explain it. A company fails, bad management. A war breaks out, it was obvious tensions were rising. A stock market crashes, interest rates were too high. But here's the twist. These explanations come after the event. They are tidy, logical, and satisfying. But they weren't obvious before the event happened. This is what Taleb calls narrative fallacy. What is a narrative fallacy? It's the tendency to create simple stories for complex things, especially after the fact. We force a cause and effect explanation onto events that may actually be random or driven by unknown factors. In other words, we trick ourselves into thinking we understand. Here is a great line from the book. The more random information is, the more we look for patterns, and the more likely we are to invent stories that aren't true. He gives a personal example. Taleb grew up in Lebanon. In the early 1970s, the country was peaceful, modern, and booming. Then suddenly a civil war erupted. At first, people said it'll last a few days. Then it went on and on for 15 years. Each week, newspapers and analysts gave new explanations. It's about religion, it's about politics. Actually, it's outside interference. But the truth is, no one saw it coming. And the deeper truth, even after it began, no one could explain it properly. The reasons kept changing. Still, people pretended to understand. That's the illusion Taleb is warning us about. The danger, overconfidence. When we think we understand the past, we assume we can predict the future. That's where the real damage happens. We take bigger risks than we should. We trust flawed models. We ignore uncertainty. That's how black swans break things. The retrospective detective metaphor. Imagine you walk into a house, a vase is shattered on the floor. You don't know what happened, but you start guessing. Maybe the cat knocked it over, maybe there was an earthquake, maybe a child ran by. You don't actually know, but your brain wants a story, so you choose the one that feels right. That's what we do with history, economics, success, war, everything. We create a fake sense of understanding and then act like it's truth. Black swans aren't always bad. We tend to think of black swans as disasters, but they can also be positive. The invention of the internet, the rise of Google, a random video going viral, a book nobody expected to sell, but it does. These are also black swans. They come out of nowhere and create massive change. So the goal is not to avoid all surprises. That's impossible. The real trick is to be ready to survive the bad ones and benefit from the good ones. Major black swan events mentioned in the book. 9/11 attacks. Nobody predicted them. They changed global politics forever. 2008 financial crisis. Many experts missed it. Complex systems collapsed. Rise of the internet. It started as a military tool, became the most powerful thing ever created. Stock market crashes. Repeatedly happen, still surprise us every time. The discovery of penicillin, an accident, but it revolutionized medicine. Some questions that you may have. If black swans are unpredictable, what's the point of this book? The book isn't trying to help you predict black swan events. It's helping you change your mindset, to stop trusting fragile systems, to stop thinking you know more than you do. It's about becoming wiser, not more certain. Should we ignore all experts? No. Taleb isn't against all experts. He respects those who work in stable environments, like engineering, pilots, or mechanics. But he warns against experts in unpredictable areas like economics or finance who pretend they can see the future. That's dangerous. How can you apply what you learn in the book in real life? Diversify your investments. Don't put everything in one place. Avoid huge risks that can ruin you. At the same time, take small chances where the downside is limited but the upside is huge. For example, writing a book, launching a product, or trying something creative. Does Taleb mean we should never plan anything? No, planning is still useful, but your plans should allow for surprises. Build in buffers. Expect the unexpected. and never assume that just because something hasn't happened, it won't happen. What's the difference between luck and a black swan? Luck is usually small, winning a scratch card, getting a free upgrade on a flight. A black swan is big. It changes the rules. It shifts the entire game. So while they both involve randomness, the scale and impact are completely different. Final thoughts. The Black Swan is not an easy book, sometimes boringly repetitive, but it's an important one. It wakes you up, it challenges your assumptions, it shows you how much we rely on a version of the world that's neat, clean, and predictable. But the real world isn't like that. It's messy, it's full of surprises, and if we want to thrive in it, we need to change how we think. Taleb wants us to stop pretending, stop building sandcastles in the storm. Instead, build boats that can float when the unexpected floods arrive. I hope you have liked the summary and analysis of the Black Swan. If yes, please like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you receive a notification whenever I upload a new video.